We're going to talk about the release, particularly the idea of a late release. Now, what we know with professional golfers is they maximize distance. And one of the ways you can maximize distance is by moving the upper arm very much to the side of the body, as I'm going to demonstrate. Now, quite often inside golf, we talk about a skimming a stone analogy. Now, if you were going to skim a stone, you'd kind of likely do a motion that I'm demonstrating very much here, right? Now, what's happening here is effectively two movements. One is an external rotation, okay? It's unlikely you'll do this, something like this, you'll likely do this. And then the second one is a right arm adduction whilst maintaining external rotation until the last moment, okay? And that's how you're going to maximize that sort of speed. Doing this is, you know, I'm not saying you can't throw it that way, but it's not going to be the maximum way. And it's exactly the same thing with inside the context of a golf swing. What happens with professional golfers is we know that they move the upper arm very much like I'm demonstrating here. Now, it doesn't always look like this in a professional golf swing, and that's because they end up separating the lower body, so it often looks like the upper arm is more to the side of the body like so. But if I now re-bring my hips back to parallel, you can see the way that's where my upper arm is located. That doesn't change. Now, most amateur golfers are here. Now, the problem with this is, like I said, this is our sort of, you know, early releasing motion, right? So if I sort of hit a shot, and I imagine that you guys, you tied a bit of string around my upper arm, and you sort of pinned it up, and you were pulling it up into the air. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to release a golf club like this is going to explain why, at best case scenario, you're going to end up sort of getting a little bit flippy and a bit scoopy. What you've really got to try to do is keep the upper arm way more in front of the body, as I'm demonstrating here, and then from there, then you can release the club onto the back of the golf ball. It's a little scary. I understand why it's scary, because when you hold on to external rotation and you move your arm, as I'm demonstrating, the club face will stay more open, like so. But eventually you can kind of learn to turn through with it and straighten your arm. But I wouldn't worry about that. I would just go down the range and just experiment with this sort of idea of, you know, trying to really almost get your upper arm, your elbow, just exaggerate it in towards your belly button. Keep your shoulders nice and square, don't go this way. And then from there, just, you know, play around with it, and you'll be surprised how much more athletic the whole thing will feel. See you soon.